And welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. I'm Matt Del Vecchio, specializing in life transitions, senior living industry, and the elder care planning. I think that's kind of a theme of I'm still standing for a lot of people still toughing it out. And look, if you're listening to CJAD, that either means you have electricity back, or you're in your car driving around, or if you're like my wife right now, we have no electricity at home, and she's listening to the show in our driveway, in her car, trying to stay warm. And some of you have been doing that, trying to charge your phone up. Maybe it's you're going old school, listen to the transistor radio or through the iHeart app. Still, a fair amount of homes without electricity, and Beaconsfield has been particularly hard hit. In fact, this morning, still over 50% of residents of Beaconsfield had no power. Well, we have George Burrell on the line. George is the mayor of Beaconsfield. Mayor Burrell, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, thanks for joining me. I know you are one busy man, Mayor Burrell. So why is Beaconsfield so hard hit?
Well, first, let me thank the Hydro-Quebec crews for their hard work that they've been doing, and also our city employees for their involvement in the aftermath of the storm. And the Red Cross is also helping us with the shelter accommodation at the Rec Center, so I just want to make sure that they get proper thanks for what they're doing. Right now, at 11:30, I got a report from Hydro-Quebec. As you said, over 50%. I estimated close to 60% of our residents have no power in Beaconsfield. And when I look at the current map, I don't see much improvement. So we still have a lot of people in Beaconsfield without power. It's now 4 days. Probably is going to go on until tomorrow. And, well, you know, I no doubt that I can see the frustration and the anger from our residents, and it's increasing by the minute. And I certainly support, and I don't blame them for the way they feel, because it is really unacceptable in an urban area like Montreal and Beaconsfield to have 4 or 5 days without power. That, to me, is not unacceptable.
And it looks like we've lost Mayor Burrell. I know I was talking to him offline, and I know he was explaining that I guess the way Hydro-Quebec's working, they're starting with the commercial and highly vulnerable areas, hospitals and CHSLDs and so on. And this is part of the reason why Beaconsfield is kind of last on the list. Crazy numbers, over 50% still out. I know they have some warming centers. We wanted to talk about that with Mayor Burrell. And the warming centers are still going. You could even, Red Cross is involved, and at the Recreation Center in Beaconsfield, they're open. And I would I was there yesterday charging all the batteries, getting some work done, grabbed a warm coffee, and they're doing a great job. They're one of the first municipalities to get these warming centers. Now, I'm just going to check in if we've got Mayor Bass. Okay. Believe it or not, as we were speaking, Mayor Burrell just got power as we were talking, and his phone line got cut. We want to thank Mayor Burrell, and we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we also have Mayor Jim Bass on the line. Mayor Bass is the mayor of Pierrfonds, Roxboro. Mayor Bass, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Matt, thank you very much for having me this evening. Happy Easter to everyone.
Yeah, thank you as well. And I bumped into you yesterday. No surprise, Mayor Bass, you're out on the road. As usual, working very, very hard. You said to me, Matt, I'm exhausted. And I understand that. And I know even for you, that means nothing, because you've got some residents in Pierrfonds, Roxboro, still very vulnerable without power. I know you also have some warming centers and Red Cross involved. Tell us a little bit about that.
You're right, Matt. Look, it doesn't compare at all to the folks, the over 3,500 homes in Pierrfonds that are without power. So you can imagine, those folks anxious and just waiting for power to come on. If there's any bright light at the end of the tunnel, I spoke to our hydro representative really moments ago I have a regular call with him, and they hope to have, from what he told me, 95% of our community and the West Island. Really, from what he said, they're hopeful that they get that back up and running by midnight tonight. Now, that means that there will be, and there are problematic cases, that they will be continuing to analyze and will take longer than expected to bring back. And this is why we have our warming centers, not only at the library, we have it at the Pierrfonds Arena, where people can go and shower up until 10 in the evening. And then we have our overnight center that we've set up days ago at PCHS. And we've had people coming in and out, and if they don't stay overnight, at least they have a place to come, have a coffee, have a snack, at least get to talk to some of the people at the Red Cross. We have some support as well for folks that may be going through some psychological impact from this whole ordeal. So we have experts that are on site to provide that service. I mean, this is something that is unexpected. However, it's lasting longer than we'd like.
Talking with Mayor Jim Bass of Pierrfonds, Roxboro. I was actually at PCHS, checked it out yesterday. Very well organized and warm, and you could charge all your batteries. Great job there, Mayor Bass. I want to address very, very quickly before we head out to traffic, Mayor Bass. You had a post about some of the incivilities out there. I know Mayor Burrell mentioned, talking and giving kudos to the Hydro-Quebec crews. There has been a lot of nasty things said about Hydro-Quebec, probably a lot of it justified. Let's, call it like it is. However, the Hydro-Quebec workers just doing their job, working 16-hour shifts, and some of the things being said on social media. You finally spoke out on Facebook yesterday to say, hey, come on, let's give everyone a break here.
When people are desperate, you can expect anything. And the women and men, the Hydro-Quebec workers that are on the ground, that have been dispatched into the different communities, are doing extraordinary work, as are the blue collars, the administrative staff that are supporting our warming centers. But we also have to understand people are going through a crisis here, and they have no other option but sometimes to lash out at some of these employees because they're impatient and they're anxious and all of the above, right? So we're asking people to try to be calm under the circumstances, as difficult as it is. We're all living the same experience, and it's not by us accosting these workers on the road that's going to speed up the process or make it any better, And so we understand that folks are going through a difficult time, and this is why we're saying go to the warming centers. There is support there, at least at that level, to provide you at least with the necessities and the bare minimum that we can do up until such time that your power is on. And then once all the power is restored, then we'll take it to the next level for cleanup and any additional support that we have to give to the residents thereafter. But there's a process here, and we understand It's taking long, but we've come a long way in the last number of days, as difficult as it is for us to understand that.
It's Mayor Jim Bass of Pierrfonds, Roxboro. Mayor Bass, we want to thank you very much for coming on Life Unrehearsed during a very busy time for you.
Thank you very much for having me, Matt.
All right, thank you. Up next on Life Unrehearsed, we want to hear your feel-good stories. We've heard so much. We heard this negativity, and understandable. I'm going probably fifth night tonight with our family without electricity, and patience levels are wearing thin. We get it. However, I just want to take a breather for the next segment, just 10 minutes, where we're going to focus in on some of the positive. The show, Life Unrehearsed, is about how you cope with difficult times. And so I want you to share some of the stories. Please text me, 514-800, or even better, call me at 514-790-0800. That's 514-790-0800. 0800. We want to hear your stories, what you've heard out there, what you've seen in the community. I know our next door neighbor, she's a senior living alone. She happened to be visiting family in Toronto, and her trees really got devastated, especially in the front lawn. There was, I'm going to say hundreds of branches, some of them very, very big. And just yesterday, I went out to start to clean it up a little bit. She's coming back on Tuesday or Wednesday. Within minutes, we had 5 or 6 neighbors, including one with a chainsaw. And about an hour later, we were all done. Everything was all stacked up right in the front yard, ready for pickup. And that's an example of, have you seen or heard anything out there? So we want to hear from you. 514-800 or call us at 514-790-0800. But first, let's get a CJD traffic update from Marty Lamar.